The second week of La Vuelta ends with a short but intense mountain stage. Ben O'Connor will try to hold off Primož Roglic and the rest on the steep slopes of Cuitu Negru, only visited once before by the race in 2012.
I watched the replay of that stage. What was it, 2012 or 2015 on that climb? It's pretty epic. It's pretty hard. Yeah, just got to tackle it. I've done lots of hard climbs in my life, so this would just be another one onto the list.
O'Connor's biggest GC threat is clearly Roglic, but lots of riders are also targeting the podium on a day where big gaps could open up. What are you expecting today? I think there's going to be a war for the red jersey. Roglic is close, then there are lots of riders who want to get onto the podium, so I'm expecting a big battle. Today's a very important stage, a very nice one too, and I have lots of ambition. I just want to do well and hopefully enjoy it. I think Roglic will try to take red. He's the one with the most options, but we'll try to be up there and defend our chances in the best possible way. Cuitu Negru is making everybody nervous, and it should be an epic final. We've already had some high gradients since the start of this Vuelta, but it's going up another notch today. It won't be slow all day long, and slow doesn't necessarily mean easy or calm. It's going to be very intense, but yes, in terms of pure speed, the last kilometres won't be very fast. Stage 15 is a real beast, with 3 climbs to tackle even before reaching Cuitu Negru. 2 of them are classified Category 1. The final difficulty itself is simply brutal. 19 kilometres at more than 7% average gradient, ramping up to 24% in the last 3 kilometres. It's going to be spectacular and a potentially decisive day in this Vuelta. It took around a dozen kilometres for 7 men to get a small gap. Asgreen, Sheehan, Gregar, Vine, Frigo, Izagirre and Castrillo. But several teams were unhappy with that move, and the attacks just kept coming as they approached the first climb, the Alto de la Coladiella. Marc Soler and Mike Woods setting off in pursuit, with UAE apparently determined to blow the race to pieces. Adam Yates was also on the move, and so too was Pavel Sivakov. At one point, the GC group pulled to within 30 seconds of the leaders, O'Connor and Roglic just marking each other. The break still with a small gap as Vine led the way over the summit. The Australian was targeting the polka dot jersey. There were riders all over the place on the descent, but once the road flattened out, it all came back together again. Breakaway over, but not for long. The pace still very high, an average speed of over 43 km/h as Soler sparked another move, going clear with Armirai, Sheehan, Gregar, Pache, Meintjes, Izagirre and Castrillo. A ferocious start, and there was still 90k to ride. The 8 leaders would soon be joined by a dozen more riders, with O'Connor and Roglic both sending men up the road. Armirai and Paripantra for Decathlon AG2R, Vlasov and Martinez for Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe. The break swelling to 21 riders, with the peloton now 2 minutes behind and being led by T-Rex Quickstep, who had missed the move on behalf of Mikel Landa. They soon hit the day's third climb, a second hike up the Alto de la Coladiella, and the breakaway would soon be whittled down to just 7 men. Sheehan and Soler were among the riders saying goodbye. Vine still setting a high tempo ahead of Sivakov, Vlasov, Castrillo, Armirai and Pache, with Kung just about doing his best to hold on. Vine collecting more King of the Mountains points to draw level with Van Aert, the break now leading by more than 2.5 minutes. Vine still hammering away on behalf of Sivakov as they made their way through the valley and into the final 20 kilometres. T-Rex Quickstep getting some help from Movistar as they tried to close the gap, but the UAE-powered breakaway were leading by around 3 minutes as the final climb loomed into view. Job done for Vine and over to Sivakov, who was soon putting his fellow escapees under serious pressure. Catania was now leading the GC group for Landa, but the big guns were clearly wary of the gradients in the final kilometres. For now, they were keeping their powder dry. Landa taking over with O'Connor right on the wheel, but it wasn't until Lipovic took over that the group began to split. At the front, meanwhile, it was down to just Sivakov, Vlasov and Castrillo.
As now 3 kilometres to go, it's Pablo Castrillo who says, "Thanks very much, lads, for the ride. I'm off in pursuit of my second Vuelta stage victory."
Lipovic thinning out the field superbly for Roglic, with O'Connor gritting his teeth to hold on to that red jersey.
Roglic takes over and he's going in flight and in search of more time.
At the front, Vlasov clawed his way back to Castrillo, while Mas ended up catching and even passing Roglic. A couple of fascinating duels unfolding as the gradients really began to bite.
And it's Castrillo who looks to have the better of Alexander Vlasov. A performance of a lifetime, one in which his team, himself, his family, his friends, his country are going to be so proud of. Pablo Castrillo is a 2-time Grand Tour stage winner.
And Roglic is coming back onto the wheel of Mas. There's still a bit of a gap there, maybe 6-7 seconds. No, he's coming back onto the wheel.
He's coming back. The acceleration from Roglic, and where did he find that from? Ben O'Connor safely gets through week 2 with the red jersey on his shoulders.
Pablo Castrillo is decidedly the revelation of this Vuelta. After an emotional win on stage 12, the young Spaniard has shown he has the makings of a future star with victory on the iconic Cuitu Negru. The 23-year-old has a very bright future ahead of him.
The first victory is unbelievable, but the second one is something to dream. I think the best Vuelta possible to do, and I don't know to say in that moment.
Castrillo taking his second win of the week by 12 seconds from Vlasov. Mas and Roglic led in the GC favourites at 1 minute and 4 seconds, with O'Connor 11th at 1 minute 42. The Australian remains 1 minute and 3 seconds ahead though, with Roglic getting a 20-second penalty for drafting after a bike change. Mas is third at 2:23, with Lipovic and Godu both moving up into 6th and 7th respectively. Wout van Aert ends the second week with a big lead in green, 109 points ahead of Caden Groves. The Belgian also keeps the polka dot jersey, but only just. He and Jay Vine are both on 46 points, but Van Aert has been over bigger climbs. And we've had yet another change of white jersey. Lipovic is now 7 seconds ahead of Rodriguez and 18 clear of Skjelmoser. Join us again on Tuesday as we head to Lagos to Covadonga, and thanks for watching.